manifest. I manifest. Want it, I see it, I got it, I get it, I get it, no question. I manifest. I manifest. They send me protection from all of these hitters. They stealing my blessings like, oh. What's good, everyone? Jay Tally Reacts, coming at you with the craziest TikTok videos. Today, we're going over a little something called mind control. What exactly is mind control? Where are they orchestrating mind control? Do you need to be aware of mind control? Well, absolutely. And these videos are going to explain why. So let's jump right into it with our first video.
I don't think that the movies and the TV shows is actually predictive programming. I think that that is an infiltration into our subconscious mind and what they want to happen in our reality. And then it transfers onto us, and then we make that happen in our reality. What is being said in those shows and in those movies and in those TV shows are affecting our subconscious mind to a degree that we dream about it. And this is another way that this super soldier and SSP narrative has continued to perpetuate itself, right? People will be listening to these super exaggerated fairy tale nonsense, space travel journey, astronaut battling alien stories before they go to sleep. And then they lay down, go to sleep, and then they have a dream about it. And then they wake up and then they're like, oh crap, that's definitely real because I just dreamed about it. And then they think that that dream was a real experience. This is at least 70 to 80% of the SSP and super soldier community.
Yo, so there's truth to that. I think that with television and media, internet, ads, all these things are programming us. He's saying he doesn't believe it's programming the collective consciousness, but I kind of disagree. One thing I do agree with that he said is the fact that we're watching these things before we go to sleep. In my book, I write about the fact that if you want to manifest something, the quickest and most effective way to manifest something you want is to envision it before you go to sleep. Close your eyes, feel yourself there, see yourself there, dream about it. That's how you get your dreams. Netflix said our customers will even use our product in their sleep. So there's truth to that. How many of us sleep with the TV on? I know I'm guilty of it. Anyway, let's get on to the next video.
Hollywood's been programming us since we were born.
They have been desensitizing us since we were born. And I'll give you some examples. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay, now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient druids back in the day used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the magi's or the mediums of the day to help channel their spells to the population. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, and when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question it.
Yo, so that's crazy. The first time I saw that, I was like, wow, they're throwing it right in your face. It's like, they put it right in your face, just like these celebrities with all this demonic stuff. Like, they're putting it right in your face. And I don't know if that's an out for them in the future. If anything were to happen, they can be like, oh, well, I told you. I mean, we told you, we were programming you the whole time. Like, or if it's like Cat Williams said that 2024 is the age of Aquarius, coming into the age of Aquarius, and all truths will be revealed. And he said that like a month before Diddy got indicted. So who knows? Next video, let's go.
Marilyn Monroe is considered the original Hollywood mind control slave and possibly the most iconic, recognizable sex symbol of all time. However, behind her photogenic smile was a fragile individual who was exploited and subjected to monarch mind control. She had a difficult and unstable youth, being abused as a child, which made her a prime target for beta programming, a sexual slave form of mind control. Before becoming famous, Norma Jean went by the name Mona and worked as a stripper at a burlesque house in Los Angeles, where she first came into contact with Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan. LaVey's biography mentions having an affair with Monroe, but what he really meant was he became her handler and Monroe became his favorite beta sex kitten slave. The highest level of beta kitten slaves are used to serve as presidents. She was JFK's presidential model. Presidential models are given diamonds to signify their beta kitten status, hence diamonds are a girl's best friend. Her death, claimed to be by suicide from pill overdose, was at the young age of 36 and is one of the first mysterious celebrity deaths in popular culture. Jack Clemens, the first LAPD officer who investigated her death scene, has gone on record stating that he believes she was actually murdered. Strange events happened that night. Police were called more than an hour after Monroe was found dead. There were multiple pill bottles in her room, but no water. The time of death given by witnesses changed several times. Prime witness Eunice Murray left the country and was never questioned again. Are diamonds really a girl's best friend? Best friend.
Damn, she left the country. And this is like so common in Hollywood, right? Like Brittany Murphy, the 27 Club, like it's just so common, this kind of thing. One crazy thing she said was about Marilyn Monroe was discovered by the founder of the Church of Satan. That'd be interesting to look into, and how many people the Church of Satan has put on the platform. So I don't know. It's crazy. Here we go.
He said, if I had had that, my whole book would have been different. And he told me, he said, the reason I stopped talking or writing about this was people were camping out on my front lawn, you know, telling me that they'd been victims of MK Ultra. He goes, I couldn't go anywhere. My whole life became crazy because everybody thought that they were subject to this.
So he's talking about MK Ultra right now. And he's saying that the guy who introduced him to MK Ultra had to stop preaching about it because he had people camping out on his lawn saying, listen, I was a victim. And whether they were or not, that's really a dangerous situation, considering they said Charlie Manson was like one of the first people to be experimented on with MK Ultra. Like people like that, you don't really want camping out on your lawn. But this guy wrote a lot of information about MK Ultra. Here we go.
With me, and when he looked at my documents, at that point I think I had about 10 or 12 or 15 pages that grew eventually because I kept going back to the files and getting more. He said it was the most unredacted, uncensored account of what the real objectives were and what was really being done.
Look at you today, 20 years later, and they still have no idea what you're about. Tell me in a sentence who you are.
Nobody.
What an answer.
I'm nobody.
Facts.
I'm a tramp, a bum, a hobo. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine. And a straight razor if you get too close to me.
That video makes me feel like with extreme intelligence or extreme enlightenment comes the possibility of insanity. Like once you know everything, does your mind just break? Do you just look insane to everybody else because you're aware of everything? Like what kind of answer was that? Who are you in one sentence? He said nobody. He said I'm a jug. He said he's all these inanimate objects because that's what we really are. But in the 70s, or whenever that video, 80s, 70s, whenever that video was made, people were probably like, this dude is crazy. But in reality, when it really comes down to it, I'm made out of the same stuff as this microphone, these speakers, that book. And so are you.
You know what these two pictures have in common? They're both of Christina Aguilera. I'm not kidding. They're both Christina Aguilera. Now, I know people age and they don't look the same way they did 20 years ago. But this is when Christina was on The Voice just a couple of years ago. And this is from her own Instagram a couple days ago. And they look absolutely alike. And this upcoming video is from Christina's TikTok this week.
Knows me, knows I love a nice video game. It's very relaxing. It takes me out of my element. It's a de-stressor for me. So
Damn, she looks so much better.
like a cute and pink Switch. It's so perfect. Take it on the plane, hotel room.
Did that look or even sound like Christina Aguilera to you? Let's watch a different clip from that video, just to compare.
I love this little massage on it. Literally is great. It's triangle, so it's not this big, huge, like, hammer looking.
Okay, just to recap. This is a picture of Christina Aguilera from her own Instagram this week. And this is from Christina's TikTok video from this week. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but they do not look the same. Let me know what you think in the comments section, Booskies. Shabadoo.
So they're calling that Ozempic face. But my mother takes Ozempic and it did not do that to her face. I mean, obviously there's a lot of plastic surgery involved. She looks way different. But a lot of people theorize, that it's a clone or it's a whole new person or, I mean, I don't know what it is, but she looks damn good. And Jessica Simpson, too, looks younger than she did 10 years ago. So Madonna, a lot of these artists and celebrities are coming out looking way younger. So what's going on with that?
If you have kids at home, this next segment is for you. This Friday, the newest batch of Disney Channel stars grown in the Disney Genetic Engineering Lab will be unveiled to the public.
Right. Now, Tracy, most of our viewers are already familiar with a lot of the products that have come out of the Disney Lab. Yes, but how exactly do you create a Hilary Duff or a Miley Cyrus from scratch? Right. Well, we're going to find out exactly how it's done right now because joining us live from the Disney Lab is one of their lead geneticists, Dr. Andrew Rourke. Welcome, Dr. Rourke. There's quite an operation you've got going on out there.
Thanks, Jim. So the stars that we see on TV are actually grown right here?
That's correct. They're grown and developed here. We engineer their brains for advanced singing and dancing capabilities, even posing for photos. By the time they grow to desired size, these child stars are fully ready for the camera or the concert tours or whatever Disney chooses to put them in.
That is simply amazing. Now, how long does it take to actually create a star from scratch?
Well, not very long at all. We use the exact same DNA structure for all of our stars, and then we simply tweak minor details like hair color or skin tone.
Right, yeah, we do have some footage here of some of the well-known creations that have come out of your lab. Let's take a look.
Yes, well, that's model 6831-A, publicly known as Mitchell Musso, standard male base with a type 3 skin pigmentation. Wow. And that's model 6831-B,
type 3
slightly thicker eyebrows, and type 5 skin.
Oh, so it's sort of like putting a puzzle together there.
Exactly.
Okay.
What in the... What?
Yeah, so I don't know if that's real. I doubt it's real. But what if it actually is? What if they're actually just putting it in our face once again? How many times have they done this to us? Like, for so long, the government's like, UFOs are not real, calling people crazy and tinfoil hat people. When come to find out, now they're like, well, UFOs aren't real, but UAPs are. So it just makes me wonder.
Did you know Taylor Swift?
Yeah, we all know she's demonic, right?
No. She's, quote-unquote, a clone of the high priestess of the Church of Satan.
Huh? What the fuck? Where did you learn this from?
What? Look at this pic, fam.
Yeah, let me see.
This is like a famous high priestess of the demonic church. Looks exactly like Taylor Swift. Now, what's crazy, they share a lot of similarities. They're both singers, songwriters, fam. Both have the same blonde hair, the same facial structure. Look.
Pause. Hey, weren't we just talking about the Church of Satan? I didn't even realize that these videos connected like that, but Marilyn Monroe, probably the most iconic pop star of all time. And somehow Taylor Swift is now eerily similar to the high priestess of the Church of Satan.
They even wear the same lipstick. Look at their eyes. The eyes, fam.
That's
And
Taylor,
the
fam.
eyebrows. Yo, that's exactly Taylor Swift. So
Taylor.
a lot of people are starting to like see, oh yeah,
Damn.
Taylor Swift's demonic because of this one, I think there's a music video called Willow. And what happens is she uses her piano and out comes like a golden thread, and out goes this golden thread, and it attracts all of these people. And once the people become in contact with it, they become obsessed with it, and they become almost so obsessed where they become like a cult. And what is Taylor Swift's fandom like?
Cult, fam.
It's
You
like
know,
a cult.
Oh my god.
So theory is that she's actually either a clone of her or her just in disguise, or they've like replaced her with her, and she's using the music in the same way to take people's souls and like make them attached to her.
Pause. I mean, there's so many cases of this. It's really weird, right? It's creepy. That's why this is creepy TikToks about mind control. So that golden cord apparently does attract spirits, beings in the spirit world, interdimensional beings like we covered in our last video. There's truth to that. Like, I've been into most of this stuff since like 2008. And now it's all starting to become mainstream. It's really weird to see.
Is this card game warning us of the future? The card game was released in the 1990s, and it seemed to predict world events with startling accuracy. The card game included references to events such as 9/11, natural disasters, and even the pandemic. This card game was called the Illuminati New World Order. Many believe that this card game was created by the Illuminati themselves as a way to communicate their plans to the world. Others believe that it was just a coincidence. But with so many events seemingly predicted by this game, it's hard to ignore the eerie similarities. But whether it's fact or fiction, one thing is for sure. The Illuminati and their alleged plans for a new world order remain shrouded in mystery and intrigue. And so do the question.
Illuminati cards created in 1995.
1995. And there's a card in there that looks just like Trump. I'll put it up here for you. There's also a sniper card that they say is related to Trump as well. I think there's even a card that says, "You miss me," which they also say relates to Trump. It's almost like that movie. Have you guys seen that movie called Utopia? Man. So Utopia, there's a British version and an American version. Now, I haven't watched the British version, but the American version came out in like 2019. And they only aired one season. And I watched it in like 2020, maybe late 2020 after COVID. And it was after COVID, and it was after we got locked down, right? This series predicted a lot. It predicted a lot. It predicted that a virus is going to be released by the government. It's basically about this comic book, right? And this comic book predicts what's going on in their world. And it's funny because this is a movie that's predicting what's going on in our world. So check out Utopia. It's on Prime if you want to see it.
Y'all in a box.
We in a box.
They have you in a box.
We in a
You
box.
can save the world.
We can.
But you are working on things that are too...
Pause. Real quick. Kanye West, people call him crazy. I think that he's right with a lot of stuff. I think that they go out of their way to make people look crazy who are not going with the flow. If you're not with the agenda, they're going to blast you out. They made Michael Jackson look like a pedophile. And what's crazy about that is everybody who knew Michael Jackson, Macaulay Culkin, Donald Trump, they say he's not. Like, you don't know Michael. It's kind of messed up that we all jump on the bus. Like, sometimes I wonder about Diddy. Is this all, did he just piss somebody off? I know he pissed off the owners of Ciroc Vodka, and they are a very wealthy company. He sued them because he sued them over racism. And that was in January of 24. So what's really going on? And another thing Kanye said in like 2013, he started saying, "I'm a god." And now guess what the common knowledge is on the internet? That we are gods. We are immortal spiritual beings. And I strongly believe that.
Come on, take a step back.
Let's take a step back.
Stop worrying about your college your loans.
Stop.
Stop worrying about what job that they got waiting for you in Silicon Valley.
Stop.
MIT, you can save the world.
We can save
Kids
it.
in college, you can save the world. I'm putting my life on this interview right now.
Put his life on the line.
It's up to
Yep.
y'all. Y'all
I
have
agree.
the ability to just step back from what you think culture is today.
Facts.
It's not about any candidate.
Nope.
It's not about red or blue. It's about humanity.
Humanity. That's what it's about.
Facts. Facts. Thank you, Kanye. If you're watching this, I agree, baby. Let's go. Let's get this change.
So this drawing right here is by Aleister Crowley, which is a known Satanist, right? Aleister Crowley said he physically manifested this being, right? With that being said, he also said today they call them angels and demons, and tomorrow they will call them something else. So he was letting you know that these are not aliens. These are angels and demons. But that image right there is straight up a demon. You got the angels look different from the demons. You see what I'm saying? So with that.
Pause. So, if you don't know a lot about Aleister Crowley, I would look into that. It's very, very interesting. Aleister Crowley drew this picture. And him and another guy, they did a ritual in New York, I want to say. And when they did this ritual, they literally manifested an interdimensional being or an angel or a demon, right? So what's really crazy about this is Aleister Crowley drew this image before 1940s. So before it was common knowledge that a little gray being was commonplace as an extraterrestrial or even an angel or even a demon at that point, he was already drawing them, say he encountered them with this ritual. Now, the crazy part about that is L. Ron Hubbard did the same ritual in the 50s, and he's the founder of the Church of Scientology. So that's pretty coincidental. I mean, he did it based off Aleister, but he still was that interested in it. So you connect the dots.
Being said, guys, you know, some of y'all coming here talking about, hey man, you need to do your research. But let me tell you something, I do my research. I understand what's going on. You don't understand what's going on and you kind of scared. So with that being said, it's all good. But at the end of the day, these are angels and demons. How you think you're going to go to heaven? He's going to beam you up. You feel me?
And once again, in the early 1900s, whenever Aleister Crowley did this, I want to say like early 1900s, late 1800s, it wasn't common knowledge that a demon was an extraterrestrial or an angel was an extraterrestrial. That was not common knowledge. So it just kind of makes me wonder. But do your own research, you know. Figure this out for yourself. That way you are content with your information.
How's Kanye? You have
Well,
love
I
for him?
met like 5 or 6 different Kanye.
Do you remember when
The
he was a nerd?
first four was awesome. The last 2 was a little bit.
Couldn't you be like, do a Steve Harvey, be like, enough of this foolishness?
No, music is sort of like a mind your business thing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree Kanye has multiple demeanors, and I kind of feel like that's an artist thing, but who knows? I mean, Jadakiss is straight saying, listen, I've met multiple Kanye West, and he didn't say that Kanye was a clone there, so let's not put words in his mouth. The heading said that, but he didn't say that, you know, so.
Let's dive into some celebrities who claim to be cloned. Tila Tequila.
The one that you remember from Hollywood is actually, that was the clone of me. And now that I finally traveled over there to kill her, because I killed her.
She said I killed her.
She killed her!
No longer around. Rest in peace, Tila Tequila.
Kid Buu. Kid Buu claims that he was a second-generation clone that escaped from Clonaid.
I was cloned by Clonaid in Canada. My model number is 0112568.
if anyone wants to see the registration and Clonaid.
He also exposed his clone on a...
Pause. It's crazy because Clonaid is real, and he really does have a clone number. So do with that what you will.
Live Instagram. And some believe that Boo was just using this technology to kind of add in an additional video of himself. B.O.B. So on January 24th, 2016, B.O.B. posted a live video about celebrity cloning.
Donald had seen a clone of me in the cloning center. I am memory suppressed. However, I do have memories of what fit the description of the cloning center. I thought that when I spoke out about cloning, they were going to kill me.
This was after he made...
Pause. So, for those of you who know me, you guys know I was a music artist for a long time, featured on MTV, my music videos and all that. But there's a reason I stepped away. But I met B.O.B. multiple times. I met Taylor Swift at the American Music Awards. I've met these people. I mean, I didn't have a close relationship with them like we were best friends, but B.O.B. I have respect for. He's one of the artists that I saw on tour, and I was like, listen, dude, like, he all he had was a mixtape, and he was opening for Lupe Fiasco. And that's still one of the hardest mixtapes I've ever heard. But I give B.O.B. props because B.O.B. made a whole album based off these internet theories. I mean, he goes deep. He goes into flat earth. He goes into cloning. He goes into all this stuff. But shout out B.O.B.
several tweets regarding cloning centers. When a celebrity in great health suddenly suffers a stroke or heart attack or an aneurysm, cloning center. Every time you see a celebrity, quote, randomly lose their mind, cloning center. Clones don't have dreams, they can't gain weight, and they can't grow hair. Who are you sleeping next to?
Can your baby mama grow hair? If not, she's probably a clone. But speaking of rappers, let's go into one who's really impressed me lately. Tom MacDonald and what he has to say about these internet theories. Damn, he said Gucci, Kodak, Eminem. Eminem is the first one who really I suspected cloning could be real. And that's the thing, like cloning's been around since the 90s. They cloned Dolly the sheep. So cloning is real. And why wouldn't a company like Universal own that technology? Why wouldn't they invest in that? But Eminem was the first one who really fell off so hard, right? And I was like, this isn't the same guy. There's no way. And what's weird is now, 15 years later, he comes back like the original Slim Shady. So to me, it's a little weird, right? Because I am an artist. Like, if you lose that spark, I mean, I guess you always have your voice, right? You always have your voice. But even he lost his voice. So maybe this version of the clone, because they say they only live so long, maybe this version of the clone was finally got it right. But the craziest thing that Tom just said was making the artist into a sacrificial lamb so they can keep making money off him. And that sounds just like a label mind state. The 27 Club. I'm sure if they had the technology to clone people, that Kurt Cobain would still be here. That Jimi Hendrix would still be here. I'm waiting on a Mac Miller clone to come out. But who knows? We'll see what happens.
Celebrities who were supposedly cloned or replaced. Avril passed away after her first album. She was replaced by the probably fictional Melissa Vandella, apparently a lookalike and Avril's best friend. Paul McCartney had passed away in a car accident in 1966. His fellow Beatles were so worried about the effect on their careers that they replaced them with a guy called William Shears Campbell. Beyonce had passed away in 2010 for unknown reasons. The reason why we think she is a lizard person is because the clone is defective. And in some performances, you can see her skin malfunction. Megan Fox is just a bunch of clones who are getting replaced every time she appears. She is aging. Fox is replaced once in a while with clones created by the government, and it is referred as vegan.
Pause. See, I don't know if that's true because didn't they say the clones don't age? The clones stay the same age. They don't grow hair, they don't age, and they don't gain weight. So, Megan Fox, let us know, That last ad you did, though, when you were pregnant with the black goo, what are you guys trying to do with the goo? I was going to put some goo videos in here, but it just got too weird, too wild for me. So, we didn't go with the goo this time. But look up Megan Fox and the goo and all these artists who are doing goo stuff.
Diddy has a clone. Apparently there's this thing spreading around where people are saying that the person that's actually in jail is not the real Diddy. Let me catch you up to speed. This is a real photo of Diddy. Notice the markings on his face. They're very prominent and they are from the real Diddy. However, in this mugshot right here, you do not see these markings at all. So people are claiming that whoever is in jail, allegedly, supposedly, is not...
Pause. This does not look like Diddy. But I will say, when you go to jail, you get the worst picture you've ever taken, ever. They don't say 1, 2, 3, ready. They say, stand right here, and that's it. So, it doesn't look like Diddy, but it could be the angle. But his forehead, too, looks weird. But it could be the angle, right? Because another thing is, when you get professional pictures taken, you have the best lighting. You have makeup. Even if you're a dude, you have your hair done perfectly. You have a suit on or whatever you're going to wear. Everything is fake, which is part of the reason I stepped back from the game, because everything is fake. They put on this facade in Hollywood that all these people are perfect, right? But they're just like you. Unless, of course, they're clones.
Is not the real Diddy. This photo always terrified me. There's just something off about this photo. To make matters even more weird, Diddy's private jet is still flying around as we speak and making stops in various locations around the world. Just a few days ago, his private jet was spotted at Auckland Airport, a spot normally reserved for private aircraft. This is from the account Celebrity Jets. They're actually tracking P. Diddy's private jet flight path. And this is when it was landing at New Zealand. And 2 days ago, it was at Honolulu, Hawaii. This is the actual private jet that Diddy owned. And you can see him getting off this private jet here. So what do you guys think?
The jet thing's not that weird to me. Like, his kids could be using that. His team could be using that. They're on vacation, like, whatever it is. The jet thing really isn't weird to me, but who knows?
Your favorite celebrity has been alive for a very long time.
Honestly, I don't know. All I'm saying is it's crazy.
That one's iffy.
Look at these two. Tell me they don't look alike.
Yes.
Okay, now I seen someone saying this is the same person. No, it's not. There's dude's name right there. Crazy, right? Funny how you say vampires. Maybe a little bit of a stretch, but I just thought it was funny. Now tell me that's not the same person. Well, it's not, but that's crazy. Check that out.
Ooh.
Here's the name of this guy, because people were wondering. And then obviously that's Mark Zuckerberg. I think he was the king of France. Both have power. There's another one. There's the name of that girl. Now you guys love this one. There's his name. There's Big Alec. Don't they look just alike? Just fluffier? Guess that's Pope Gregory. Look into it. Check that one out. Now, I don't know if these people are vampires, clones, what they are, but these resemblances are crazy.
Yo, there's a lot of those. There's also Michael Jackson looks like an Egyptian like statue. I think it's Egyptian. Obama looks like a pharaoh. Nicolas Cage has one. And what's weird to me is like, you figure these pictures that they're finding are very old, over 100 years old. When did photography begin? Like 1850s, maybe? So what's weird to me is, how are there pictures of so many like celebrities that look like this? Have you ever found one of yourself from the 1800s? If you have, shoot it in the comments and let me know. This is weird to me. And then Robin Williams, obviously he passed. They said he committed suicide, which once again, who knows? But I've never seen that one before. And Robin Williams, you know, if this is true that these celebrities are older than they appear to be, maybe they have contracts. And once their contract's up, they're like, all right, you have to disappear for 40 years. And then you come back and we're going to get you a new spot on the platform. Wouldn't that be crazy, though? That'd be crazy.
It's rumored that they create all of us Disney kids. I definitely wasn't created in a lab, and if I was, there must have been a bug in the system which caused me to malfunction somewhere between the years of 2013 and 60. Sorry, Nikki.
Every day, you realize, like, they could have just switched the medication, and I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mental issue, right? Yeah. I ain't never been back to the hospital since 2015, but every time they say I'm crazy, it's just like I'm saying the truth. So what's the crazy part, really?
Facts.
What's the crazy part, really?
Judging by Britney's bloodline, she was always destined to be controlled. Britney's family is filled with witnesses. Most of them are on her dad's side.
Damn.
That's the son of her abusive granddad, June Austen, who interestingly pushed her grandma, Emma Jean, down a similar path. June Austen was a Freemason who forced his first wife into an institution.
Let's talk about how you can protect yourself from mind control and any unconscious programming. We know that our mind is a very powerful tool when it comes to manifestation. If our subconscious mind...
Pause. So like I said, this, my reaction series is called Cheat Codes to the Simulated Life. And my goal in this is, if you can't afford to buy my book, that's fine. I wrote that book to give people knowledge. I wrote that book so you can manifest whatever you desire. You know, I didn't write that book for money. Like, money's great. I wrote that book to help people. This is my way to pay it forward. Now, you're probably wondering, like, how could this book relate to mind control and all these different things? Because realistically, it's not in it, you know? But the defensive tactics that you're going to need in life in order to be aware of what's going on with mind control, MK Ultra, Project Monarch, and all these different things that are possibilities, even the television, internet, ads, all these things are there to control you. They're there.
Let's talk about how you can protect yourself from mind control and any unconscious programming. We know that our mind is a very powerful tool when it comes to manifestation. If our subconscious mind is filled with negative behaviors, negative ideas, and just any negative images of things that we don't align ourselves with, then this can consistently show up in our daily lives. That is why you need to become more aware and more mindful of the things that you are consuming on a daily basis when it comes to the internet, you know, television, and just overall any entertainment in general, because there are so many agendas, there are so many, you know, advertisements, so many things trying to be pushed towards you, especially to hit your subconscious mind. So what you can do to basically protect yourself and be more mindful is to open your third eye. And the best thing to do to ensure that your third eye is open is to stop consuming fluoride.
So the third eye thing in my book, it'll tell you how to decalcify your third eye. The fluoride thing, once again in my book, there's fluoride everywhere in the water. I don't use fluoride in my toothpaste. I buy a toothpaste that's fluoride free. If you want to know what it is, shoot it in the comments. I'll let you know the brand. But then I also, so right now where I live, the water really tastes chlorinated. So I'm like, damn, if it tastes that chlorinated, it has to have fluoride. I mean, all water does. RFK just came out and said it, you know. But I got this adapter that you could put on any sink, and it has like a filtration system in it. So I put that in my bathroom, and now, like, when I brush my teeth, I don't even taste it anymore. But yeah, definitely be aware of the water you're taking in. We are like 80% water. So if we start filling that up with fluoride, that's going to calcify your third eye, which disrupts your manifestation abilities. So be aware of that.
The CIA wanted to take control of people's minds, and they realized it was a two-part process. First, you need to blast away the existing mind, and second, you need to find a way to insert a new mind into the resulting void. This is what's known as Project MKUltra, the most sustained search in history for techniques of mind control. After World War II, the tension between the two emerging superpowers, the US and the then Soviet Union, was at an all-time high. The threat of nuclear war was hanging over everyone's head, and ultimately the end of civilization. Technological progress didn't stop at the atom bomb, and both sides were continuing to invent bigger and badder weapons. But what both sides knew is that the most dangerous weapon was information, and the US became increasingly concerned that the Soviets had discovered a drug or technique that would allow them to control human minds. In response, the CIA began its own secret program to search for a mind control weapon they could use against their enemies. The experiments were covertly funded at universities and research centers, as well as American prisons and detention centers in Japan, Germany, and the Philippines, and the subjects endured procedures including electroshock and high doses of hallucinogens. Going back to the two-part process of mind control, it said they were extremely successful at blasting away the existing mind, but they didn't get too far on replacing it. In the 1960s, Project MKUltra was shut down, and due to its top secret nature, we will never know just how many people were affected by it. That is all for this video, but as always, if this interested you and you want to see more like it, I'd really appreciate it if you click the plus. Thank you.
So they said they were doing this to prisoners, probably prisoners of war and regular prisoners. Is that why the prison industrial complex in America is so focused on filling up these prisons? Oh, he got life. Huh, perfect subject. Let's go. Now, one thing I'll say is you could believe what you want, but MKUltra is a real thing. Okay? Project Monarch is a real thing. And they say, oh, we shut that program down in the 60s. You know damn well they're still utilizing it when they feel it's necessary. Have they just figured out a mainstream way to utilize it through TV, internet, ads, radio? I'll let you decide.
Were you in the gifted and talented program as a child? Some people called it GATE, some people called it GT. There's actually a lot of different names.
I was always mad I never got into GATE because they used to get out of class for like an hour. Did you guys have this? If you were in GATE, let me know in the comments, because it's interesting to see this theory. Is that they're basically saying that these children in GATE were gifted and talented, right? But not gifted in the way you're thinking. Like, they're saying they were gifted spiritually and psychically. But if you were in GATE, tell me below if anything ever happened to you that was weird. Did they ever take you on field trips for GATE? I remember the kids in GATE not coming back for... Like, usually it'd be like an hour, right? But I remember them not coming back for like 4 hours sometimes. Where'd they take you? Let me know.
Depending on where you live in America, but do you remember being selected in elementary or middle school for some sort of accelerated learning program and being taken out of class and brought into other rooms with a smaller group of children? And do you have an extremely hard time remembering that? And if that's the case, please listen to what I have to say, because I had a flood of memories come back to me after overhearing another person talk about this colored string test where we had to undo this tangled up colorful string. And through that and talking about it last night in another video, I have been flooded with comments and people reaching out to me, telling me their stories and sharing other things that have unlocked even more memories for me. So we're going to go down the list of things that I wrote down and see if this unlocks any more memories for you. Obviously, the first one is the tangled up colorful string where we had to undo it. Some people said it was on like a board. Other people had to do it mentally. And some people were just given this wad of colorful kind of yarn stuff and had to untangle it to the best of their ability. A lot of people remembered flashcards or memory games or speed reading. Actually, a big one for me was these tangrams, these weird little colorful shape block things. As soon as I saw a photo of that, because I saw a lot of people in the comments referencing it, I didn't know what it was, and I Googled a photo of it, and dear God, did I have a flashback of just countless hours of having to do tests and games with these tangram things. Another super popular one is the auditory testing with these weird retro headphones, these like big gray greenish headphones. Some people reported them being connected to this like weird briefcase thing, and I specifically remember having to listen to these weird frequencies, these weird tones, and being tested on what I heard in the tones. And then another person mentioned having to listen to the story being played to them through these headphones. And there was this little clicker device, and you'd have to click a button every time you heard certain words or certain elements of a story. Very vivid memories from that. Continuing with our retro tech.
Pause. So I remember doing these tests as well at the doctor, right? They do the click, or if you hear it, you don't raise your right hand or your left hand. Why is the schools or the government, why are they testing these kids on this? What are they really trying to figure out here? Because I guarantee you it's not a hearing test.
Technology theme, do you remember having to use super old computers and having to play weird games and do weird tests? And I feel like even one of them was Oregon Trail. I remember something along those lines. That was a huge part of this GATE program curriculum. Another very common one for people was having to build things out of random objects like toothpicks, popsicle sticks. For me, I specifically remember having to make things out of construction paper. One that I saw a couple of people mention but really struck home with me in a deep level that makes me feel uncomfortable. Do you remember having to wear weirdly colored or tinted glasses of some sort? Like, I'm talking about like the old 3D movie glasses. That, I don't know why, feels so familiar to me. Now we're going to start getting even weirder. Do you guys remember having to go to very small, weird rooms where the windows were completely covered up, or there were no windows at all, or being completely removed from school, taken off campus? I distinctly remember doing a lot of this program in a trailer with the windows covered up, which, as you can imagine, is not exactly very comforting. And speaking of being taken off campus, off school grounds, do you remember weird field trips, having to go very, very long distances, being taken to weird things? People reported being taken to local businesses and talking with some of the heads of companies. Some people report going to military bases, or very oddly specific aquariums and planetariums. Now, for me, planetariums definitely struck a chord. And last but not least, do you remember having to drink some sort of weird liquid out of a little Dixie cup? I'm talking about reddish, pinkish, purplish. People describe it as different colors, but I distinctly remember having the experience of having to drink this weird liquid out of a cup. Some people reported having to take these tabs, and a lot of people report thinking that it was some sort of dental test or some sort of fluoride test. That might be the case. I don't know. I am just trying to explore all of these different experiences because of the fact that we have no memories. We have no distinct chronological idea of what actually happened to us in these accelerated gifted classes. If you remember any of this, or this jogged a memory in some way, please comment down below. If you can list more things that I haven't shared, that would be fantastic, because I feel like the more that we get this stuff out in the open and list these experiences and share it with each other, the more that we will unlock.
I think they'd remember a lot of the stuff from GATE, right? Like, or maybe not. Maybe it was just boring and testing. Like, I remember asking kids when they got back from GATE, like, oh, what'd you guys do? And they really weren't, like, ever excited about it, you know? So that's why I was always kind of like, oh, well, fuck GATE. No, I'm just kidding. But that's why I was always kind of like, oh, well, I don't really care that I'm not in GATE. But they always seem like nothing happened. Is that because they were coming back and their memories were erased? Were they hypnotized? What's really going on in our school systems?
Well, it's very simple. I have a clone. I have a clone for music. I have a clone for film. I have a clone for my
I have a
personal
clone.
life. I have a clone for my family life as well. So that's how it gets done. And each clone is under contract.
Which one am I talking to now?
Well, if I told you that, then, life wouldn't be as fun.
Hey, if she has a clone, if Janelle Monáe has a clone, Elon Musk has like 20 clones because he stays so busy. Joe Rogan has to have a clone. What if you just get to this certain level and they let you in and they're like, we thought you should know you can buy a clone if you want one. Like, who wouldn't buy a clone? I mean, I wouldn't buy a clone. I don't know if I'd want myself to be cloned, but would you buy a clone? Let me know in the comments.
Most celebrity appearances are carefully planned or rehearsed by agents and publicists, making sure not to hurt the star's brand. However, no technology is perfect, and sometimes an entertainer's mind control breaks down during a live appearance. And we get a
See how he's just frozen?
truly bizarre behavior these people demonstrate behind closed doors.
I was a little down. I found out I was injured. I had to have surgery again, or with another knee.
Why?
At the end of the day, I have amazing teammates. Guys like Draymond, everybody on this team, they come over there, they wrap their hands around me like, yo, we got.
Pause. Hey, when he said his name, he snapped out of it. Did he know what was going on?
Is this another MK Ultra programming malfunction? Here's another Cardi B interview at the Grammys, exposing secret society symbolism and subliminal messages.
Cardi B joining me! Oh my God, I've been dying to talk to you. How are you? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling nervous, overwhelmed, everything. You feel it all right now. I feel it all. Butterfly in my stomach and vagina.
That's a clear reference to Monarch programming.
Okay. I love you. Why do I love you? Well, I know I love you so much. The same reason everyone loves you. Because you speak your mind, Cardi B. You do not hold back.
Yeah, well, I love it too. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, whoever's in there.
She said whoever's in there. And she's made that reference a few times. But Cardi B, it's like a lot of these people. First, let's think. What would be their main motivation for cloning these celebrities, right? Or MK Ultra-ing these celebrities? Well, first of all, look how many celebrities supported Kamala Harris. Now, I'm not going to get political on you, but one thing I will say is she lost in a landslide. And all these celebrities stepped up. Is that just because they don't live in the regular world, so they don't understand the gas and groceries and rent and all these things are triple the price in some areas? Or is it because something more sinister? And it's because they're being controlled. Either way, we need some answers.
This spasm of publicity about what happened from Mexico to London.
It was pretty rough, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strong Brittany. Yeah, it was a weird. Ew, I'm embarrassed. Can we stop?
That was disturbing. And to see Brittany now on Instagram, Brittany was the hottest one. Christina, Brittany, Andrea, Jessica, even Beyonce. And Brittany was the hottest one. Did she get messed up somehow by her programming? Did her MK Ultra get messed up? Like, is her clone messed up? Like, or did she just say, forget all these people, I'm gonna do what I want? It's weird though. It's weird that now Christina's hot when like Christina was like different a couple years ago. I'll leave it at that. Jessica Simpson, different. They're all different. Are they all still rolling with the punches? Is that why they got that upgrade with their faces? Now this is Sinbad talking about the movie Shazam. If you don't know what Shazam is, don't worry. We're going to get into that.
For those who said, hey, you saw Shazam when I was growing up, yeah, you did. It did exist. I'm ex-military, ex-special forces. So we were able to do a lot of mind control stuff. There are 3 Shazam videos still out there we did not find. And if we find you, we're going to kill you. If you have that Shazam video, you're on a short list to have an assassin come to your house. I'm embarrassed because I've been telling people I never did Shazam. I was doing a lot of crack.
He said, I was doing a lot of crack. So he came out and said, I've never been in a movie called Shazam, right? Long story short, my experience with this Mandela effect is I remember when the movie Kazam came out. I had to be like 8, 9. And it was like a Nickelodeon or a Disney movie, you know how they would premiere movies, right? It wasn't, I don't think it was in the theaters. I don't think either of those were in the theater, Shazam or Kazam. But I remember when Kazam came out, it came out after Shazam. Because I remember I was like, that's weird. They just came out with Shazam not too long ago. It had to be like 6 months. And I was like, that's weird. They just came out with Shazam, and now they're coming out with Kazam, and they're both genie movies. What? And millions of people remember Shazam. I don't really remember the plot too well. I know Kazam was way better than Shazam, like candy from the sky and all the candy. But what do you remember? Do you remember Shazam? Let me know in the comments. At that time, Sinbad was on fire. He did what? First Kid, Shazam, I think House Guest. He was doing so many movies at that time, right? And he was like a household name. So I knew who Sinbad was. But yeah. We're about to get into Mandela effects. I think Mandela effects there's truth to these Mandela effects. I don't know what's going on, but that's what we're here to figure out.
Thanksgiving has always been on the third Thursday. We learned that growing up. We give thanks on the third Thursday. Like, that was the point. Thanksgiving. And come to find out, as of, I don't know now, it's the 4th week. This has to be the Mandela effect in action. Or I'm just crazy. And I am crazy, but I'm not wrong.
Hey, and she's right, because I always remember like Thanksgiving. I didn't remember the third Thursday Thanksgiving, but she's pretty confident about that. But I do remember Thanksgiving be like 22nd, 23rd, 24th, somewhere in there. This year, it's like what? 26, 27, 28, like the 30th. I mean, let's look back on our calendars and see if it's ever been on the 30th. I think it's the 30th. It's close to there. But regardless, with Thanksgiving coming up this week, I figured it'd be a good time to share that video on the Mandela effect. Now peep this.
Man claims to be able to see into a parallel dimension.
Snow White. Chick-fil-A with the CHIC. Now there's a K. Cheez-Its with a Z. Now there's no Z.
Okay, anyone remember the...
So look, Cheez-Its, we call them Cheez-Its, not Cheez-It, but that could be because we say it like Cheez-Its, like it's plural. But I remember the Z. I remember Mirror Mirror on the Wall, not Magic Mirror on the Wall. I remember Chick-fil-A with no K, because I was like, oh, that's kind of smart that they spelt it that way with CHIC. Jiffy could be a false memory. Once again, the Mandela effects, all this is in my book, Cheat Codes to the Simulated Life. You can buy it on Amazon. But Jiffy, I think Jiffy could be a false memory, because you got Jif and then you got Skippy. Skippy, Jiffy, Skip. Like, I could see how that could be a false memory. But there's just so many of these Mandela effects. And what makes me really mad is I had that phone. I had a Trio. And I had a Trio in like 06. And I'm just so mad I didn't keep that phone. I think I'm going to go order a Trio just to see if that works.
Okay, anyone remember the Payless store? You know, the Payless shoe store that supposedly sells cheap shoes? Well, guess what? It says Payless Shoe Source. Source. When was it?
Pause. When was it Source? A. B. I do not remember Shoe Source as one word. It might have said Payless Shoe Store. 2 words. 3 words. But I definitely don't remember Payless Shoe Source. I would have remembered that. And he's apparently saying they didn't update this. This is what it's always been. I remember Payless Shoes. I don't even remember store or source, but it could have been store, but I guess it wasn't. But I remember Payless Shoes. I remember the billboard, Payless Shoes. I don't remember Payless Shoe Source. This one's weird.
My predictions for 2024.
Let's hear it.
Trump will be reelected president, and he will hold office for the longest time compared to any other president. Inner Earth civilizations are going to be made known.
Pause.
And it won't be disclosure.
I've been promising
it's
people
going to be because they impose themselves.
In the next couple weeks. So
in March, Planet Nibiru will be visible to Earthlings. Between February and March 2024, a planet 8 times larger than Earth is going to be visible to humans. Scientists are going to discover that there is a mirror Earth within our solar system. Opposite gravity, and the sky is not blue, but red and purple, as their oceans reflect the sky.
Nibiru.
And yes, it is a habitable planet. 2024. CERN, or an agency similar to CERN, is going to expose interdimensional travel. They've already done it. They've already succeeded. But they will come out and tell everyone. Once the different dimensions are going to be explained, this is going to give validation. Not quite, but almost to a flat Earth reality. But it's not what we think. There are going to be different dimensions. And all these dimensions are all stacked on top of each other, forming plates. Or what seems to be plates as an ideology. Texas and Florida are going to want to separate from the rest of the United States. They want to become independent. This is a plan. This year, dragons are going to be rediscovered, not discovered. They already existed. They already lived amongst men. It's just going to be explained. There's going to be evidence, but not of a dead species, of a living, thriving species with over 2,000 breeds of dragons. They breathe fire, they fly, and they communicate with man telepathically. Between now and Christmas, a famous singer that we all thought to be deceased will come out admitting to have faked his own death. And this person is legendary.
Better learn how to train your
It
dragon.
is a male with black hair and white skin. If there are not to be any more timeline shift, these are the predictions from 2024 to all the way to the end of 2025. Allow some discrepancies. Time is not linear. Time-space is not linear. It's not a straight road. It can alternate at any...
That was a good way to cover her butt, because she said, if there are no more timeline shifts, then these are the predictions. But she made the Trump prediction before Trump won. It's a 50-50, right? I will say, if even one of her predictions come true next year, the world is going to freak, right? All those other predictions were massive. So, Nibiru, I think that one could be possible, that we could see Nibiru. They're already talking about this second moon thing and all these things going on. So, a lot of weird stuff. But, yeah, we look like we're in for a good 2025, right?
14 Mandela effects that make you doubt the past.
Let's go.
Alexander Hamilton never served as the President of the United States. He was actually the first Secretary of the Treasury. Disney's Mickey Mouse character has a tail. Curious George has never had a tail. Some people remember different numbers of rings around the bullseye in the Target logo, but the one on the left is the correct one. The Berenstain Bears are actually called the Berenstain Bears. The Raisin Bran son doesn't wear sunglasses. There's no hyphen in the name of Kit Kat chocolate bars. In I Love Lucy, Ricky never actually said, "Lucy, you got some splaining to do." Shaggy from Scooby-Doo doesn't have a prominent Adam's apple.
What?
The song from Grease is actually Greased Lightnin', not Grease Lightnin'. Jiffy peanut butter doesn't exist. It's Cheez-It, not Cheez-Its. It's Captain Crunch, not Captain Crunch.
I believe that one.
Those onion ring snacks are called Funyuns, not Funyuns.
I swear they were Funyuns.
Which of these facts shocked you?
Pause. I swear Funyuns was like Funyuns, like spelled Funyuns, but still spelled like onion, right? F-U-N-I-O-N-S, Funyuns. Which one of these Mandela effects do you remember being the opposite way of what it is today? Because the weird thing about this is there's no proof of any of it being as we thought it once was. Scooby-Doo, I knew what an Adam's apple was because of Shaggy. He had the fattest Adam's apple, am I right?
Where's Mandela? Well, Mandela's dead.
The Mandela effect.
Now they're saying
Someone, often many people, having a clear memory of something that actually did not happen.
Chef? Peanut butter?
A whole community sprung up around this. I mean, it's disorienting.
But these glitches that we see, like the Mandela effect, show me that it has its limits. If this structure is a simulated structure, the sim need only be concerned with the walls, the shadows, the glass, the reflections in the glass.
That's procedural generation. I mean, we use that in video games.
It's not wasting any power or any energy on what's inside the building. Not until someone has the intention to walk in there.
This world works that way, that when we're not observing it, it's saving data.
It's my belief that our observation contributes to the creation of the physical world, yes.
If a conscious being isn't observing something, does that thing actually exist? In computing, in video games, procedural generation allows a computer to not get bogged down in processing data that it isn't using or observing. If something isn't being observed by the collective consciousness, then it would cease to exist in...
something's wrong.
It's all right, it's all right.
I was watching
seeing myself. I could see that I was in the kitchen with my eyes closed. What's happening to me right now?
You don't have to be fake, Claire.
Just get here fast, okay? I don't know what's going on.
Come here.
So that's from a movie called The Mandela Effect. I saw that like the other day. I didn't even realize they made a movie about it already. But basically what that movie was saying is this world is a simulation. And if this world is a game, come get the cheat codes to the game. Just kidding. But if this world's a game, right, then experiments like the double slit experiment, you should look into that. But that kind of showed us that if electrons are being observed, they act differently than they would normally act if they're being unobserved. So that kind of made them think, are we in a simulation, right? And if this world is a simulation and the group consciousness figures out it's a simulation, what does that do to the simulation? I mean, we've seen a lot of glitches on the internet, but that could be hype. All I know is that there's a lot of situations and a lot of things I've seen that make me feel this is a simulation. So the answer to your question of if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, the answer is hell no. No, it doesn't, because this is a simulation.
New Mandela Effect for you. It's new to me. I'll be home for Christmas. You can blank on me. What's the word? Go ahead and listen. Tell me if you remember it differently.
Pause. With Christmas coming up, we got the holidays, right? I thought this would be a good one, and I never heard this one. So I'll be home for Christmas. You could blank on me. What's the word? Put it in the comments. Now we're going to play it. Start it over here.
New Mandela Effect for you. It's new to me. I'll be home for Christmas. You can blank on me. What's the word? Go ahead and listen. Tell me if you remember it differently.
You could plan on me? That almost doesn't even make sense. But I'm not really, I think it's Bing Crosby that was. I'm not really the most up to date on Bing Crosby. Like if it was a Dean Martin song or a Frank Sinatra song, I might have got it, but I can't say for sure. So let me know in the comments, did you say count on me or did you say plan on me?
Crazy Mandela effects that I can guarantee you have not seen before. These will genuinely blow your mind and make you question everything. Now, unless you want to be absolutely terrified out of your mind, then just keep on scrolling. Honestly, this will keep you up all goddamn night. First up, Disney. Probably everyone remembers this. Yeah, Tinkerbell dotting the I in the intros. I remember this vividly, like, I clearly remember this happened. Well...
Pause. Do you guys remember Tinkerbell? Now, I remember them doing this on maybe one movie, right? And then I kind of put together like, oh, that little thing, that fairy, that's a fairy, that's Tinkerbell, right? Apparently they never did that.
It didn't. And it never did. What? A lot of people swear that they remember a robber emoji and a hiker emoji which looks similar to this one right here. Now, especially the robber one, I remember that extremely clearly. Like, I used that, I swear. but it never existed. Apple didn't remove it or anything, it just never existed. Now, your parents will no doubtably remember the book and everything, the Bernstein Bears. It was extremely famous. Everybody knows it was called the Bernstein Bears, but it's always been called the Bernstein Bears.
That's actually the movie cover to Kazam, because that kid is in Kazam, but they flipped it and they put Sinbad on the cover. Pause that. Shazam. Many people falsely remember the existence of a 90s film titled Shazam, starring comedian and actor Sinbad as a genie. However, no such film ever existed. And it is possible people are misremembering Kazam as the aforementioned film. But that's not the case, because I just told you why I remember Shazam. I don't remember the movie per se. I mean, low-key, I guess I do. But I remember thinking, well, they just made Shazam. Why'd they come out with one called Kazam? What's going on, people?
Proof dimensions are starting to mesh together.
If you remember watching Shazam in the 90s with Sinbad, the actor, well, the movie never existed.
You all remember a movie called Shazam with Sinbad playing a genie?
Once again, JTT, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was not in Shazam. I know that, because, well, then he'd remember it.
You know what? The movie was never real. It was, the rumor started in 2009. I don't know where it came from, but it's not real.
Millions of people remember watching this movie, but it never existed. Apparently, it's a Mandela effect, a collective false memory of something that a lot of people remember, but it never happened. Just like, for instance, the Mandela effects of the Monopoly guy with the monocle, the Bernstein Bears with an E, and George the monkey with the tail. These things never happened. And the thing is, I recently found videos of people who actually have a VHS tape of the Shazam.
I still don't
movie.
understand the whole issue with this movie Shazam, with Sinbad.
If it never existed, how come a lot of people still have
Pause.
a VHS?
Once again, I don't think that's real, because I'm pretty sure that kid was in Kazam with a K.
VHS tape. Are we in a different timeline? Time travel? Parallel universe? What's going on?
It never existed.
And if that is real, yo, Sinbad said the CIA is going to come for you, so do not post that.
Strange, isn't it? But it gets even stranger. I found an original scene from the Shazam movie. In it, several Mandela effects.
What are you doing? Dad couldn't have thrown out all of Mom's stuff. He just couldn't have. James, there's gotta be something he forgot here. Something real we can remember her by.
George, the monkey with the tail. What?
Hey, we have our memories. They're real. No one can take that from us. Yeah, clean this up. Can you imagine if Dad saw this mess?
Really done.
Pause. The Fruit Loops commercial, they're saying Fruit Loops, like fruit, F-U-R-I-T, Loops, L-O-O-P-S. They're saying it was never spelled like that. It was spelled F-R-O-O-T, fruit, and then Loops, L-O-O-P-S.
Bless you.
I think there's a Monopoly board right there. Yeah.
Bernstein Bears with an E. What? Nelson Mandela died at 68.
Took you long enough, Tina? Wait, y'all are not Tina.
Wait, you know her mom?
To make me my own dinosaur.
Last but not least, Carmen Sandiego with a yellow suit. Why would someone leave?
Pause. I did not know that was a real one, but what color did Carmen Sandiego wear? Was it red? but I swear it was yellow. They're saying she never wore a yellow suit.
So many Mandela effects inside of a movie that never existed. What is going on here? Time travel?
So I'm pretty positive that video is fake. But imagine if that really was, because I don't remember what the real video or real movie was like. I do think it was about a brother and sister who lost their dad. That part of it is apparently pretty accurate. But I'm pretty sure Sinbad came out and remade this. And then he put all the other Mandela effects in it. But what if that is the real movie? And it really does have all these Mandela effects in it. I don't remember if that movie looked that way per se. I just remember thinking, that's weird.
There is a Taco Bell Mandela effect that I just heard of that I absolutely remember the way that they're saying didn't happen. Yeah, a Taco Bell Mandela effect. Let me explain it to you and see if you remember it too. I've gone to Taco Bell a lot in my life since they first came into Milwaukee, and I'm old, so that's got to be like over 40 years. And I remember they had these containers that were some kind of charitable thing, where if you dropped a quarter and it landed on one of those pads, you'd win a...
Do you remember those? You get a free taco or a free burrito. But didn't they have water in them? And it was like bloop, 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 bloop. I remember a few chains of fast food restaurants had those.
Or a burrito, or a taco, or something else. And looking at it, it doesn't seem that hard. But wait, there was a catch. 'Cause from what I remember, those containers were filled with water. Yeah, water. So when you dropped the coin in, it didn't go straight down to one of those little pads. It would go skeet, scat, and shab-dab and wherever it wanted to. And that's the way I remember those containers. But now they're saying they never had water in them. What? Yeah, they had water in them. I remember getting mad because you could never get the coin to...
Hey, I made it a couple times. Did you ever get a free taco off that? Let me know.
Go straight down because of the water. But that's what they're saying, that at Taco Bell, those containers you drop coins into for charity never had water in them. Even though here's a picture of one with water in it right there. And another one without water in it. So my question is, what do you remember? Do you remember those little charitable containers?
I think some had water and some didn't have water. But for them to say that they never had water in them, I might need to do more research on that and see what companies actually had those with water. But I'm pretty sure it was just Taco Bell. What do you think?
New Mandela effect of 2024. Full moon, mega moon. Since when has there been a "This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private" stamp on the U.S. bills? This has been circulating around, having people question if there ever really was.
Now, I remember it saying this bill is legal tender, but I don't remember the "for all debts, public and private." What about you?
What do you remember? Has it always been there, or is this a new Mandela effect of 2024 full moon, mega moon?
Check this out.
The sky just changed.
Right when it hit the water. They're like, what? That could be edited. But still in crazy things. So she's saying, look, my nails are done, brand new, but there's a piece of my nail on my dress. But once again, that could be an old nail. She got the same nails.
So I've just had a glitch in the matrix. I see people talk about this on TikTok all the time. I've never experienced it, but I need to show you guys. So I was just putting something away on the tabletop, and I saw this. And I thought, oh no, I've broken my phone case. Like, And I'll show you my phone case in a minute. So I picked it up. This is my phone case, guys. So where has this acrylic butterfly wing part come from? This is my only case. Is that not the weirdest thing ever? Like, I don't understand. What is happening? I know it seems really minor, but it's really, really weird. I know it seems really minor, but it's
That'd be
really,
an easy
really
way to get
weird.
a lot of play
It's freaked me
on
out.
TikTok. Get another phone, just break your first phone case. I don't know what we're looking at. The ice cold just floating there. Weird.
Okay, so I just had a thought about this whole Mandela effect situation, the James Earl Jones. Okay, so I just had a thought about this whole Mandela effect situation, the James Earl Jones, you know, passing away again. I think this is 3 times now, but I had this thought. So what if this is just like NPC type filler background information that's like always been running on a loop, right? I'm saying this because I'm hearing some people comment like they thought he died in the 90s. Some people thought he died just 10 years ago. Some people said no, he actually died yesterday. They saw him. Like one dude said he saw him 3 months ago. Okay, dude. Okay. But I'm just thinking like almost like the Truman Show, right? Like this isn't new. Like maybe they've been running this like on a fucking reel, like as a background that's like, it's psychological. It's psychological. Like it's to keep you like emotionally, because I mean like we liked James Earl,
Same.
whatever his name was, you know, we liked him. I liked him in The Sandlot, you know, I loved that movie. He was iconic. He had the voice. He was iconic, right? But, you know, have we really been paying attention to him? Like they put
Pause. And then they come back 40 years later as a different person, right?
some, you know how they put actors out there and then like they kind of disappear? Like there's a, you know, it's a mind thing. That's a mind fuck, dude. Like, because that's what I'm seeing it as a machine. Like they're just doing it with all these different actors. I mean, this is just a level of it too. This is just a level of like the psyop shit.
Hey, she's so right. And she's so frustrated too. Like, that's like me. I'm like, dude, I don't get this. Like, there's so many things that just don't make sense. And what if we're just finally starting to see through the coding? What if we are seeing into the glitches of the simulation now because we realize it's a simulation?
My lips like sugar, my lips like sugar. This candy got you sprung, this candy got you sprung.
I'm going to pause that because I don't want to get copyright infringement for that song. But yeah, she basically shows you right here that Tinkerbell was never there.
I am super confused because now they're saying that the Tinkerbell Disney intro where she hits the Disney eye with a wand, they're saying that is now Mandela effect. I distinctly remember that. I don't even like Disney stuff anymore, but I did watch my fair share as a child of the 80s. That was a thing. Also, I do remember Richard Simmons dying, and he always wore a headband. And now I look on the internet and he's not wearing one. Yet, every single picture of a costume of Richard Simmons includes the headband. So why would the costume include the headband if he never wore one? Bob Newhart definitely died. Yes, he was on Big Bang Theory, but supposedly there's some kind of
Bob Newhart was like the Jedi guy on Big Bang Theory in like Sheldon's imagination. He played like Sheldon's favorite childhood TV scientist. But yeah, that's Bob Newhart.
episode, I guess it was episode 22 in season 7.
He was in a lot of episodes.
Where people say that it was a memorial episode to him. So what's with that? Why would anyone remember that specific episode if it didn't exist? Also, it was Baron's.
Oh wait, is she saying that he wasn't ever in that Big Bang Theory? I haven't heard of that one. I'm gonna look into that.
Stain bears. In my timeline, or whatever version of reality that I'm living in, it has been Berenstain the whole time. When I was a child, I had a photographic memory for spelling. I used to be the spelling bee champion. I remember that one because I didn't like the spelling. I was a weird kid, and I was like, why does it have the word stain in it?
Well, she's saying that it's always been Stain. I remember Stein, Bernstein Bears, Berenstein Bears. But she's saying she remembers Stain. I don't know how old she is, but that could play a part in maybe why she remembers Stain.
I found that unpleasant for some stupid reason. So in my timeline, it's always been Stain. The question I have is this some kind of giant psyop? Why would anyone have any interest in Richard Simmons dying multiple times? So my question is for you, do you notice any other anomalies? Any other shifts that we haven't covered yet here? Also, has anyone tried to gaslight you when you say that there's a potential glitch in the timeline? Meaning when you mention that these people seem to have died multiple times? Because that's definitely happened to me.
But real talk in the comments, let me know if we missed any, or I missed any, because we got some. I got some good ones in here. But in the comments, let me know if I missed any. You know, I'd appreciate it. Are there any that I didn't put on here that really irk you?
Do you remember the Coca-Cola logo with the swirly thing in the middle or the straight line? Well, guess
Swirly.
what? The swirly thing on this timeline never existed. Yeah, that's right. It never existed. It was never, ever, ever, ever part of the logo. If you don't believe me, Google it. I posted that yesterday, and we got a lot of people that responded. And Adrian Morgan right here, thank you, Adrian. She said that her dad has collected bottles for 60 years. And right here, even he remembers the swirly thing. So tomorrow, he is going to check his storage of his collectibles for over 60 years and see if this swirly thing is in the middle or not. Now, he believes and he remembers that it was. A lot of people do. So let's end the debate tomorrow. We're going to end this tomorrow. She's going to send me the photos, and we're going to find out if we jump timelines and our timeline had the swirly thing in the middle of the Coke like everybody remembers, or it didn't. We're going to debunk it tomorrow. Stay tuned. Thank you, Adrian. Say thank you to Adrian's pops for me, and it's us. Let's see.
Yo, I'll let you know right now, it was a solid line. I remember the swirly, but he's not going to find it because whatever's going on with this Mandela effect is happening on a molecular level. Like, it's either someone's going back in time and butterflying affecting us by little. CERN could be responsible for this. Or maybe that's just how this simulation works, and I don't know. And here's Snooki saying that she sold her soul.
Seriously, let's be honest. I like to have fun, but also, before Jersey Shore, no one believes this when I say it, but I was a freaking, shy girl. I was very shy. It's funny that I say it now, but I was really shy. I was scared to even, go to the doctors. So, anywho. So yeah, I was going to school to be a vet tech, and I was into my studies, getting good grades, and you know what screwed it all up? Was this one guy. He broke my heart, and I was like, cool, thanks. I was like, now I have to do something pretty ridiculous and insane with my life, so why not sell my soul and go on Jersey Shore? That's what I did. And you know what? It's been awesome.
But when you were doing the Jersey Shore program, they would tape you all day long? Is that?
Oh yeah, when we film Jersey Shore, it's basically 2 months, 24/7. There's 5 cameras in the house, and then there's a camera set up in each corner. So you're always being watched.
So you're always being watched. Now, you sign up for that in the contract. You know that's going to happen.
Yeah, we sell our soul.
Well, that's an awful way to live. That really would steal someone's soul. sold our soul to the devil. How else can you explain us being here on the
About a week, not today, but about a week ago, I sold my soul.
But it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. You know, I made a bargain with it, you know, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And this earth, and then in the world we can't see.
The Weeknd sold his soul. Who else sold their soul? Katy Perry sold her soul. Little Uzi Vert sold his soul. And you know what's scary? They all, like, well, at least Katy Perry started as, like, on the choir team, and she sold her soul for some fame. It's crazy. You guys want me to start naming names? Well, there you go. There's a couple names there that sold their soul. Gabriella Rico, rest in peace. Gabriella Rico. She said the same thing I said. Then she got vanished and disappeared, and she was a model, and then she got erased from the earth and all that. But the video lives on. Say her name, don't forget her name. Gabriella Rico. She's seen what I seen.
It feels like I got struck by lightning or something during that Tickets album. Something happened to me. I haven't been the same since. I've realized something about myself that it's dangerous.
Dangerous how?
To you. Because I'm not scared anymore. There's nothing holding me back from being my true self. And my true self is can't be silenced, can't be restrained. It's a force. It's like a hurricane. Can't stop that. It just goes until it feels like it's stopping.
He doesn't really say he sold a soul there.
An artist admits they sold their soul, and then they spend their whole career making music about how they regret it. Part 1, J. Cole. When he was 18 years old, he made a song called I Can Bust, and he straight up tells you, I sold my soul to Satan. Fast forward 10 years, he releases this album called Born Sinner with the demon as the album cover. And in his song Voluminati, he says, according to the preacher man, he needs Jesus in him. But the devil runs the TV, so the demon's in him. I'm in trouble. Did a deal with the devil, and now I'm pleading with him. Give me my soul. This man is begging, please give me my soul. I'm not letting go, but the devil doesn't play fair. Nowadays, it looks like he's trying to find God and fight for his soul.
I went and got baptized because I was like, I felt guilty for even having a thought that like, well, if what y'all are saying is this and what y'all, like for even having a negative thought about it. Like I went and got baptized, started reading the Bible, I was scared as fuck. And then it hit a point in my life where it's like I just fell off and like I'll let the answer come. And as I got older, I feel like I had a personal understanding of like what God is to me. Strong belief too.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. You know, I made a bargain with it, you know, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And this earth, and then in the world we can't see.
This was the first musician to sell his soul.
Robert Johnson. Let's talk about him. Now, Robert Johnson was a known American blues musician and songwriter, and he was born in 1911 in Mississippi, and boy, does he have a story. Now, Robert was very mediocre. I'm talking about really not good at all, and several people stated that. He even knew that. So what he did was he took his guitar to the crossroads somewhere outside of Clarksdale near where he lived. He gave it to a man that he met at the crossroads, and he claimed that he sold his soul to the devil that night.
He gave the man his guitar. The man tuned his guitar and handed it back to Robert. And after that, Robert was literally extraordinary. People stated, like, when he left, he was not good. But when he came back, he was one of the most...
That's the same story of Tenacious D, right? In Tenacious D with Jack Black, they give Jack Black a guitar pick from the Devil's Fang or Horn or something.
known musicians in history. People would literally travel from everywhere just to hear this man play the guitar. Now, how you go from this mid guitar player to one of the best known? But the part that gets me is he went to the crossroads, and Papa Legba guards the crossroads. And Papa Legba is indeed not the devil.
Bone Thugs, see you at the crossroads.
And Papa Legba is indeed not the devil. Now, many people believe that he was encountered with Papa Legba because he is who sits and guards the crossroads. But Papa also is who you have to go through to get to the other deities. But I just want y'all to know that he is not the devil. I don't know if that's who people are trying to, like, say that is the devil. But Papa Legba is not the devil. But whatever he did and whoever he encountered with, it helped him.
And this brings us back to interdimensional beings, because if they are real, are these celebrities accessing this realm in order to get favors from them? Is that why they have to make the Grammys completely demonic? Or are these entities in human avatars? I don't know.
The money's coming from to fund certain things when it actually happens. It's from the record sale. All the problems that are happening is because you're putting someone from the street in front of a camera, and that person may disrespect someone from the street. They get in front of a camera and they react like they're not in front of a camera. They're going with their instincts based on where they grew up and their environment. No one gives them that talk like, yo, once you get in front of a camera, it is over.
Prisons. Fuck it. We also own the majority shares in Warner Brothers Music. Let's now get black Americans to rap music that's gangster and make it, what's the word?
Cultural imperialism, what that's called. Trying to insert an idea into a culture that, suits the ruling class. It's like, when hip-hop used to be socially conscious.
The prisons, the private prisons, the owners of the private prisons also own the record labels. That's why gangster rap took off in the 90s. They wanted to fill up the prisons.
Glorifies. That's
Fuck the police, and then it got glorified into the culture.
That's
and
it.
Bling and bitches and guns and riches, dead snitches, all that crap.
So it creates,
glorified.
Creates more crime, glorifies the crime, and then their prisons, because their government. Sorry,
we spoke about this with Bluntfield.
Yeah, exactly. So those prisons, then they actually get a kickback from the government only if they're at a 96% occupancy. So they actually make money from having people in their prisons. That's
so
business.
A bizarre update in the YSL trial involving Atlanta rapper Young Thug. Well, his attorneys filed a motion claiming that his co-defendant, Shannon Steelwell, was arrested, quote, while in the midst of a religious ceremony which involved supposed to sacrifice of goats. Steelwell faces several charges, including murder. This new motion was filed to exclude this evidence from the trial.
About how the music industry has very close ties with the private prison system.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because the music business has invested millions of dollars in the private prison system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You heard it correctly. Again, the music business and the entertainment business in general, meaning people who control the media, the music industry, and also
publication,
private prisons.
Yeah, magazines, all that.
Somebody sent me an article, I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Right.
And I read this article, bro, and I was like absolutely shocked, very shocked.
Talk to us.
In fact, I want to read this this article, but it's actually a letter that was written by somebody that was a decision maker at a major label.
Shot caller.
And he said, he was invited to a very special meeting about the future of hip hop back in 1991.
Okay.
So Here's what he said. This is how the events went down at the meeting.
Break it down, man.
Okay, just ride with me, okay? Because I'm reading this. This is real. Hold on, wait. Let me try to.
Way out article too, man. You know what I'm saying? When he told me on telephone about this, wait till y'all hear this, G. You know what I'm saying? It's mesmerizing how these people do. You know what I'm saying? The plans that they got for the down, for how far they will go. You know what I'm saying? To make people, actually slip in society. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so it says, and the title of the letter is
he's hype man in the hell
The
out of
Secret
that.
Meeting That Changed Rap Music and Destroyed
He'd be
a
like the perfect
Generation.
hype man. Who is that?
So it
That
says,
Dame
hello.
Dash.
After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Damn.
Hold on, let me
So we gonna tell the story.
We gonna tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us, not just playing.
Look, that black van.
So he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar.
You get the point. I mean, the labels are shady, and that's definitely part of the reason I had to step back and make a decision on what I really wanted to do in the music industry, because you really do sell your soul. You know, I sold a piece of my soul, and then I was like, yeah, I just can't do this. You know, like, if you know me, you know the struggles that I have seen. So, yeah, I mean, everybody makes sacrifices, and some people sacrifice the ultimate, which is their soul. I have no regrets, though. I mean, I'm happier than I've ever been. So That's all we got for you today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe my channel, because we got plenty more videos coming for you that are going to open your eyes and show you the cheat codes to this simulated life. I'm Jay Tally. This is Jay Tally Reacts. I'm out.
I manifest. Want it, I see it, I got it, I get it, no question. I manifest. They send me protection from all of these hitters and stealing my blessings.